Pastor Robert The RNDiva, and I'm so glad that you joined me here. I have something I want to let you know. You see how high gas is? You see we have a baby formula shortage. We also have food that's high. Inflation is high. What is going on? Well, things may get worse before they get better, and you need to be prepared. Go to preparewithrobert.com. Go to preparewithrobert.com. Brought to you by My Pager Supply. Get emergency food kits right there for 2,000 plus calories a day. You're going to need that. It's brought to you by My Pager Supply. Go to preparewithrobert.com. Don't be left behind. Be ready now. Let's go. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Pastor Robert The RNDiva. We're here with the Real Talk Recap. It's Friday night, March 15th, 2024. And there's been so much going on this week. I tell you, we got to get it going. We got to talk about it. And we're going to jump right in. We're waiting on the RN Diva. She's running just a few minutes late. But the diva, she had to make her entrance, But anyway, she'll be here in a moment. But, today we had the Fani Willis and Nathan Wade and the Donald Trump RICO case there in Georgia today. And they had the judge made a decision on whether or not to disqualify the district attorney, Fani Willis, and also Nathan Wade. So that came down this morning, and then there's a whole lot going on. And we're going to be talking about that tonight, one of the things we're talking about. But we're so glad to have a real attorney, a practicing attorney from Maryland. And we're going to bring her on here, Attorney Deborah Hill out of the Baltimore area. And we're ready for her to come on here. I think you'll see her cameras moving around. You ready, Debbie? You're on. Debbie, hey, Debbie. Oh, she can hear me. I don't think she can hear me. All right. There we go. All right, she's getting ready there. We just had our technical check there. But there you are. Debbie, you ready? Let's bring the diva on. There we go. Let's turn this off. Turn this down. There we go. There goes the diva. And there goes the diva. All right, Debbie. There you are. Hey, how you doing, Debbie? Can you hear me? You can hear me again? Uh-oh. Oh, wait.
Hey, I got you now.
Okay, I got you.
It's coming through now.
All right. Deborah Hill is a practicing attorney there in the Maryland area. Tell us about yourself, and then let's give us some analysis on this debacle down there in Fulton County, Georgia.
Oh, thank you, Robert. How are you today?
Good.
As you said, I'm a practicing attorney. Right now, I'm in the middle of a class action suit. It's Fitch v. Maryland, and we are at this point trying to get the state of Maryland to reinstate prescription drug coverage for elderly and disabled state retirees. They took it away from them. And when they turn 65, they no longer have it. And so we've been in a 6-year fight trying to get that back.
Okay.
So, yeah. So at this point, and of course, I was elected to the Baltimore County Republican Central Committee,
Okay.
where I was the chair of the Admin and Ethics Administration, and I ran for a state's attorney in 2022.
All right.
So, saying all that, I'm really amazed at what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not only with Fani Willis, but also with so many Black women who are
Oh.
in political office.
Mm.
Um, right here in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm in Baltimore County. We've had one of our mayors, who was a Black woman. She was removed because she stole gift cards. And we had another mayor who was a woman, who was removed and indicted and went to jail
Mm.
because she was selling books in place of, I think it was some kind of a bribery scheme or
I
something.
remember seeing that. Yes.
And then we had our state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby in Baltimore City, who made up some information in regards to her mortgage and somehow or another got COVID funds. And so
PPP. Yeah.
we're waiting for sentencing for her. So it's just not a good time to be a Black attorney. I just put it like that.
Wow.
Um, so Fani Willis just seems to be one in a long line, not including Letitia James and so many other that seem to have a specific goal in mind. And so this right here, all I can tell you about this particular case is the overall verdict, I guess, is what we should have expected,
Okay.
considering the corruption down in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through some of the things that the judge said. I'm looking at his order now, and he indicated that there was no evidence that established that the district attorney had a receipt of a material
Mm-hmm.
financial benefit. And of course, we all heard about the trips and
Right.
about the cash, and we're saying, how can that be? And then he also indicated that the testimony of Miss Yurty
Yes.
and the impeachment of the former partner
Bradley.
carried
Yes.
no weight.
Mm,
I
right.
mean,
Right.
and them it's in establishing the fact that this affair had started before this indictment just puts a different complexion on the whole case.
Right.
Now, of course, both sides can appeal.
Right.
um, I think that if Fannie Wade stays on the case, then it could be good for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because, number one, she is totally, regardless of whether the jury comes back with a guilty or not guilty, more than likely a guilty verdict
Mm-hmm.
against Trump. I mean, that seems to be the whole reason why they're doing this. But even if they come back with a guilty or not guilty, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, can you honestly trust what's coming out of this
Right.
office?
Right.
I
Right.
mean, does
No.
it, and when you think about it, I think the best thing that she can do is recuse herself and put this into someone else's hands. Um, but in looking at this, I think the judge did a very, very deft two-stepped. He
Mm-hmm.
played both sides, and
Mm-hmm.
by playing both sides, I think that we as citizens of this country, and especially of Georgia, lost.
Yeah. Yeah. I bring the diva on here. Here she is. Hey, Sean. Hey, diva. Listen, I really saw that. I'm reminded of the Bible where King Solomon had to do the adjudication, and he was going to split the baby.
Yeah,
And that's what a lot of people calling it splitting the baby,
with the
because, like,
baby.
yeah, I want to do this, but I don't want to get. I think he was afraid, to be honest. I heard today the local news there in Atlanta that he'd gotten some death threats already before he made some threats and all that. So, but I think he's more afraid of Fanny to get her machine. Her machine on him because he's running for re-election now at the same time as her. And so it's just really sad because there were so many obvious things that were going on. Even if you're not a legal scholar, you can see, okay, they're lying. They proved this. And so let me tell you, actually, Debbie, what about with them saying the cell phone towers, how they were seeing where they were? They used that?
The judge disregarded that. He disregarded the testimony of Ms. Yurty, who said that they had been carrying on since 2019. Mm-hmm. He disregarded the impeachment of the partner, mm-hmm. And when he said, "Oh no, I don't know when they started," and then he sent texts to the other attorney saying, "Oh yeah, that started when they met in when they were both judges." So I mean, his testimony was pretty much impeached, and he disregarded that. I think let me see if I can find it. I don't want to hold you up.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But because he totally disregarded that, he did not get into what I think would be the financial incentive of Fani Wade to continue this prosecution, because he said, "Oh well, if anything, she's been trying to get this prosecution rolling,"
right.
and essentially, once she put all these cases together, 19 defendants at one time, she put all these cases together and continued. I'm telling you, if she had done one case each, she had a prosecutor for each case, she probably could have got through this in about maybe 3 to 6 months.
Right.
But putting them all together, she's talking years. And when you're talking about taking money from the federal funds, getting federal funds, then you're talking about a cash cow here. You can already see what she's done with the money that she's received so far. She's had some very nice vacations, and the judge didn't even take into consideration the fact that that all these things were supposedly she was giving cash to Mr. Wade. And I mean, normally you would say that in some way that Fani Willis was a participant in a RICO scam, which she has charged President Trump with. But but he disregarded this information, and by disregarding it, he was able to come up with, oh, well, there's no actual conflict of interest, though there is an appearance of impropriety. Mm-hmm. And when you have an appearance of impropriety, I mean, still, that could be just as bad. You see somebody sneaking into a neighbor's house at night, and only the wife is home. What are you going to think? I mean, but it's you can't say that, oh, it's because of something actually occurred. Mm-hmm. You say, well, it looks like this occurred. It looks like this happened. And that in itself, when you have someone who's a public servant and supposedly dealing with public issues and being the people's champion, when you have them being how do I put it, tainted in some way, I think that hint of impropriety is enough for Fani Willis to have to recuse herself from this case. But if she does it, she has to do it on her own, because the judge now did not tell her to do so.
Right, and that's a gift for Donald Trump and the other defendants, because I don't know if she really understands these kind of cases. I was wondering, somebody was asking me, I was talking with Scott McAfee here about maybe he was leaving because she has 3 bar complaints already. She's had about 2 or 3 ethics complaints that she has to deal with while she's trying to try this case. So somebody said maybe he was trying to leave all of that to the bar to do the disciplinary things and all that.
Well, he did in the opinion, he did indicate that he was not the appropriate person to scrutinize her behavior in regards to ethics, and that he named a whole slew of different Georgia type of establishments that could look at, the ethics committee, the bar association, so forth and so on. And of course, it's up to them to take up the mantle. Now, I had the pleasure of watching Attorney Merchant in front of the Senate Ethics Committee,
Okay.
and I watched her give testimony, and then to find out that they're saying that they really have no power.
Yeah.
The other,
Right.
the other place where ethics complaint was made, they withdrew it. They said no, they weren't going to hold a hearing.
Because Fannie
So
told me, Fannie told me, y'all don't have authority over me, so you're wasting your time.
right, so when it comes down to it, it's going to take some courageous people to stand up and say, this is not how we want our judiciary, our criminal process to be. This is not what we want, and there'll probably have to be other lawyers, and
Yeah.
there'll have to be the judiciary. I mean, no one else knows the ins and outs of the legal system other than the ones who are practicing in it.
Right.
So therefore, they're the ones that would have to speak up. And since you haven't heard a huge hue and cry, I think she pretty much is going to get away with this.
That would be, it really would be sad, because it doesn't give me any confidence at all. Diva, what do you have any questions? You have any comments you want to try to?
Hey, Deborah, how
How
are
you
you?
doing, Diva?
I'm good. I'm good. So, my question is this. She literally is doing the same thing. I think there's some RICO stuff here. And I think that she should have been disqualified for even the appearance that it might be, because it's going to put such a stain on Georgia, on Fulton County, as if it hasn't already. Um, I'm not understanding. I think both of them should have been let go.
Yeah, as Robert so eloquently put it, it's like when Solomon was trying to choose between who was the mother. You know, I
Wait a
was
minute.
reading.
Is that a scripture?
Yeah, it's in the Bible. Just go.
Yeah, I was reading, I read so much commentary in regards to what happened today, and I think one of the best one I read was, okay, so essentially you have Bonnie and Clyde,
Yeah.
and they take
Right.
they take Bonnie to the jail, and they leave Clyde in charge of the bank. Okay, so I mean that's what you have. I mean, and I really think that the judge, I mean, he did a masterful job.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very good judge. He
Right.
did a
Right.
masterful job of walking this tightrope,
He absolutely
so that
did.
but what ended up happening is that he just ticked off everybody, as opposed to trying not to tick off one side and trying not to tick off the other. He ticked off everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I agree with you. There seems to be some indications that if a RICO charge is needed, it should be against that particular office.
Absolutely.
But I am not familiar with Georgia law. There's the intricacies, the ins and outs.
Mm-hmm.
But I am familiar with the rules of professional conduct,
Right.
and it seems as though that if Miss Willis is going to get her due, it's going to be through the bar association.
Okay.
And I'm hoping they are chomping at the bit right now, waiting on her. I wouldn't. And I think they probably left her in that spot or gave her that ultimatum because I think they won't. I call him Teflon Don. They want old Teflon Don to win this thing and come out on top. So they're gonna leave an idiot in the position because she's already shot herself in the foot. So
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of ways she could have handled this,
hmm
and first of all, taking the stand was not a good way to do it, because
ah,
she opened herself up to a lot of things. What struck me with her testimony is that she said that she took her campaign funds and took them home. That
and
that
put him up under the bed. Or what she say?
Yeah,
She's
and I was like, oh my God, oh my
she
God.
trying to get robbed.
I mean, she's going to have so many issues with IRS if
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
IRS is,
Exactly.
I mean, there's just
Exactly.
so much money that obviously now I'm going by what they said at trial, but what they said at trial was that during this hearing, excuse me, what they said during this hearing was that she had that they had access to her tax returns, and that this money that she supposedly had was not in any way
Accounted for.
accounted for. So,
Nice going. Her
and
big mouth.
yeah, so I mean, and that was all brought in by her. This
Right.
wasn't brought in by any of the attorneys. So I would say that the IRS and the Bar Association is where, if anything, that there'll be some maybe redress. I think the judge didn't want to jump into those waters, and he walked a very good tightrope.
Yeah, he's a new judge.
He finagled that.
Yeah, he's a new judge, just finishing out somebody else's term, and he's 34 years old. So
Oh, he's only 34?
He's 34, yeah.
Oh, he did an amazing job.
He's a very smart
Very
judge.
astute. Yeah,
he's very
astute.
astute. And and you could tell that, and you could tell that he played it down the middle when he was trying this case, only because you didn't know how he was going to rule.
Right.
It came to the point. In looking at what evidence was presented, I didn't see all the exhibits and so forth. I just heard the arguments and so forth. It appeared as though that she should be disqualified, and that he should be disqualified as well. So for him not to do that, and as I said, I'm not an expert on Georgia law. And I'm in reading his opinions, he seemed to cite to a lot of constitutional law, as opposed to when he was talking about attorneys who had done something warranted disqualification. Then he used Georgia law, but up to that point, no. So obviously this is just the first go around. Everyone still has the ability to appeal. Wade could appeal, the state could appeal, and of course all the defendants who did not plead guilty can appeal. So
Wade,
we're still talking about, and then of course, if Miss Willis continues with this case, then she will have to get another prosecutor.
Yeah,
they'll have to get up to speed.
She has two others, Mr. Anna Cross and Mr. Floyd.
And you notice that Miss Cross was disappeared. So attorneys have an ethical obligation not to support perjury.
Right.
So you just wonder, because she seemed to be very effective, and so you wonder why she disappeared. That's just speculation.
She I don't want them asking me nothing.
I heard attorney say the same thing. She said that suborning perjury, because after that last hearing that she was at, she was like, I got other stuff to do. I can't do this anymore. So she did write a letter saying she couldn't, because she saw it was going off the rails quickly.
With
all the dip. She was smart.
But it just goes to show, if people weren't paying attention to this, really, if Trump wasn't involved, everything Trump's involved, of course, hits world news. But if Trump wasn't involved, and it didn't hit the radar like it hit right now, think about it. Would people actually have gotten such a good, close insight to the mechanics of the legal process in Georgia?
Well, the sad thing about that is, no, they wouldn't. Because we should be paying attention to that type of stuff. All I can say
is that it's interesting times. You see that they have tried a lot of lawfare in order to try to get Trump removed from the ballot. That went down in flames. And of course, you have a woman who accused him of rape, who couldn't remember what year it was or what month. Just knew it was Bloomingdale's. Then you have someone who valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million, and that's worth almost $500 million. And essentially have turned real estate investing on its ear by saying that a bank and an investor can't negotiate a price. So this is just and now you have this RICO case saying that president of the United States, because that's what he was at that time, the
Right.
president of the United States could not indicate that, hey, is something wrong with this? Was something wrong with your state, with your election? He cannot question
Mhm.
the legitimacy of the election process in the state of Georgia. No, he gets charged,
Right.
and every attorney who helped him
Right.
or was even mildly associated with him
Right.
had, now has to deal with, okay, all right, I I've never seen things like this.
Yes.
This is something. But I'm telling you, we have to fight to keep our Constitution. We have
Hmm.
to fight to keep our way of life. We have to fight to ensure that American values are first and foremost a part of this country, and that God, who has afforded us these rights,
Hmm.
because these are God-given rights that we have,
Right. Right.
that that we always sit back and we honor him and and love him.
Right.
So at this point right now, all I can say is there's more to come.
All right. Well, look, Attorney Hill, thank you for coming on. I want to just highlight one thing here. As you see, I don't know if you can see that on the screen, you were talking about, and we didn't even talk about this, you're talking about a lot of the Black women attorneys and everything. Some of the people you mentioned are on this collage that I have here.
Oh my gosh, yes,
Marilyn Mosby, just you see some of them there. And we're
yes.
actually working on a little expose, because all of these women in this montage there are all some attorneys, judges, or some type of major leadership, but they all have scandals currently, or in the last few months or few weeks. Some currently right now, and I had to say to myself, I wonder if there's a pattern here, like you said. Why are these Black women put in these positions, but then they're getting in there and just messing up big time? So we're gonna
Well, keep me advised of that one, because
yeah,
it's
I'm gonna
very
send you the file that we're
noticeable.
working on. Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna send
very
you the file that we're
noticeable.
working on. Yeah, yeah.
I see it. I'll keep in tune with that, because I'm just wondering where they're coming from, and they all have the same type of attitude. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so it as I said, it was three of them right here in Baltimore. I mean, as a Black woman who's happens to
Dang,
be an attorney.
Baltimore. Ooh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
ooh, ooh.
I went to Chicago. People asked me if I was scared. I said no, I'm from Baltimore.
I know that's right.
ladies and gentlemen, thank
I
you
ain't
so much.
scared.
Let's give applause for
Thank you
Attorney
so
Deborah
much
Hill.
for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
All right,
Have a
Have a
you
good
good
thank
too.
one.
you. We'll
Bye
talk to
bye.
you. We're gonna bring you back on again real soon.
All right.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Real
Bye-bye.
soon.
All right.
What's
All
good,
right.
fam?
That was some good. That was some good stuff there. Because
Yeah,
before
she's
you got on,
very,
Diva.
very well, not very got a plethora of knowledge.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's like an
awesome.
encyclopedia. Right before you got on, but you're getting on, you have some technical difficulties. I hadn't even mentioned that montage about we're working on about leadership, Black women in leadership in America.
Yeah,
And
I heard her.
she mentioned those three of those that are on there right there currently. I mean, listen, Marilyn Mosby, she's just waiting on her sentencing. She was the district attorney, state attorney in Baltimore.
That's the one with the
And
gift cards.
no, that's the
No,
one that mortgage
that's a
fraud,
damn
perjury,
shame. You got to go.
and
No, not that one, but the other one.
the other one. Yeah, she and her husband's attorney as well. She was actually she got some PPP loan. Come on, come on, and forged falsified information on a PPP loan during the COVID.
My
She
God,
bought a house
today.
down here in Longboat Key, and her and her husband, but she basically applied for a PPP loan for a company that didn't exist, and she's an attorney. Okay, you remember Freddie Gray? That situation, Freddie Gray, about
Yeah.
7 years. She was the one that prosecuted that. That's her. That's her. So anyway, so there is a pattern, and I'm glad she said that. So at least I know I'm not crazy. I see what I know.
Well,
I see dead people. Anyway, oh my goodness, Diva, welcome. Welcome. I tell you, it's been a week. We're gonna try to recap some of this stuff. How you doing?
I'm not feeling 100%. I'm not sure what's happening.
Okay. Well,
Allergies probably, but
all right. Well,
stupid
what
camera
we're gonna do.
tonight. I don't know what the hell. But yeah, this week has been garbage. I don't know, for some reason it just kept dragging on. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, what day is it? Like Wednesday. Like, oh Lord. So I'm glad that we finally made it to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're glad that you're joining us here. Put your comments down below. We're going to continue this recap. Here we have a story hot off the press. This is concerning Nathan Wade. Excuse me. He has tendered his resignation, and we're going to get this story here from 11 Alive in Atlanta. And here we go. We'll put that on one moment. There we go. Add to stage. There we go. There we go. Where's my volume? There we go.
Also says, I am sure that the case and the team will be in good hands moving forward and justice will be served. And so a lot of folks, still a lot of questions that are out there outstanding, but this is now answering one of them. As you mentioned, a lot of legal experts did anticipate that Nathan Wade would be the one to leave the case, and now we're seeing that happen.
And we also have a response from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis officially accepting the resignation letter. She says she accepted it immediately. She also wrote some pretty high praise for Nathan Wade in her letter accepting the resignation. She wrote that she will always remember and remind everyone, and I'm quoting here, this is Fani Willis speaking, or rather writing in her letter accepting the resignation. She said, Nathan Wade was brave enough to step forward and take on the investigation and prosecution of the allegations that the defendants in this case engaged in a conspiracy to overturn the 2020 presidential election. So she's accepting the resignation letter. She's also released her response with sharing a good deal of praise for the performance, in her view, of her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade.
And that's something we were also looking for after this announcement, this ruling from Judge Scott McAfee, what we would hear and when we would hear from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis herself. And so now we are hearing from her in the way of this acceptance of this resignation.
We are, and it was an open question until now. Judge McAfee didn't put a deadline on when DA Willis had to make this decision. It's also important to note, too, that Judge McAfee left it open whether District Attorney Willis would have to remove Nathan Wade from the case, basically fire him, or Nathan Wade could step down. And we want to be clear here, this is Nathan Wade stepping down, at least from all we've read here. It's not a termination. It's him voluntarily resigning and the district attorney accepting that resignation.
All right. He stepped down, and she says she remembers all the good time. Well, I bet you do. Napa Valley.
I bet you remember Aruba. I bet you remember that
Bahama,
lady.
Listen,
she's garbage. Okay, wait. So did the nice judge say that either or had to step down, or she had to fire him, or give him the option to resign?
He has the option, one or the other. And what I'm going to play this one or the other.
Either she stepped down, or he stepped down.
Right.
Was that or was it if everything was on him? Either he resigned or she fired him.
No, it was she had to, either her and her entire team would have to remove themselves from the case, and then he would be left to do it himself, or she and her team would remain on the case, and he would have to recuse and remove himself. Okay.
I think they all should just but now he's out there, and boy, I hope that attorney for his wife shred him to pieces, because now we know about the coins, sir.
Yeah, see, here's the thing about it. What's so interesting is I sat back today, and I was kind of thinking, I'm a preacher, so I'm gonna go to the Bible. The Bible says, "What profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?" He left his wife to jump over at Fanny because she saw the bag, so to speak, and he thought, okay, yeah, we gonna do this thing. They had a plan. And now, as it's all turned around, he didn't have that income anymore. He left his wife. He put her out, and right now he's left what? Buck naked in Egypt selling turnips. Turn it.
Listen.
Listen,
you said he was chasing the bag. Was it an actual bag, or was it Fani?
Good one. I'm going to play this clip. This is going to give kind of a summary. For those of you who aren't aware, maybe you've been busy all day. The judge has
Or
rendered
under
his
a rock?
decision concerning Fani Willis and being disqualified or not. Here is the story here from WSB TV in Atlanta to give you a little roundup of what happened today. Stand by.
In the disqualification hearing involving Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. Judge Scott McAfee is deciding if Willis can prosecute. We have just gotten the document. That decision has been made.
Right now, Mark Winnie, investigative reporter Mark Winnie, is there at the Fulton County Courthouse. And Mark, you just got the ruling. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And what is it?
All right, here is the core of his decision. It's on page 17 of this 23-page document. The court therefore concludes that the prosecution of this case cannot proceed until the state selects one of two options. The district attorney may choose to step aside along with the whole of her office and refer the prosecution to the prosecuting attorney's counsel for reassignment. Then he says, alternatively, SADA Wade, that would be Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, can withdraw, allowing the district attorney, the defendants, and the public to move forward without his presence or remuneration, distracting from and potentially compromising the merits of this case. So basically, Judge Scott McAfee has said, yes, Fani Willis and her whole office can step aside, or Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade can step aside, and the DA's office can then remain in control of the prosecution of the election interference case. I think that we have not been able to reach the DA's office yet for reaction, but I think that a lot of people will be betting on the Nathan Wade option. We're going to keep going through this document. We'll have more when we come back later, but I will read this sentence also. Ultimately, dismissal of the indictment is not the appropriate remedy to adequately dissipate the financial cloud of impropriety and potential untruthfulness found here. He then cites a case. There has not been a showing that the defendant's due process rights have been violated or that the issues involved prejudiced the defendants in any way, nor is disqualification of a constitutional officer necessary when a less drastic and sufficiently remedial option is available. And so then again, Scott McAfee, the judge in the election interference case, gave the DA two options. Whole office steps aside, or Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade steps aside. I'm going to, if you'll just bear with me here, we just got this order. I'm going to scroll down to one other part.
Winnie, we appreciate that. We know you're just getting this information here. Many, many pages in this document. What again are you pulling out now?
All right. Here's the end of the order. After consideration of the record established on these motions, the court finds the allegations and evidence legally insufficient to support a finding of an actual conflict of interest. However, the appearance of impropriety remains and must be handled as previously outlined before the prosecution can proceed. The defendant's motions are therefore granted in part and denied in part. So one might say both sides are getting something out of this order. However, practically speaking, had Fani Willis and her entire office been disqualified totally, I think there's a good body of thought out there that the case against Donald Trump that was indicted by a Fulton County grand jury, Donald Trump and others, to which he's maintained his innocence, would effectively go away, that there would be no other DA's office in the state of Georgia that would have the resources and the will to prosecute this case. Of course, it appears now we'll never know if that's true. That's just interpretive reporting analysis, because now Fani Willis has the option to move forward depending on what Nathan Wade does. Reporting live in downtown Atlanta, Mark Winnie, Channel 2 Action News.
All right. We see that there.
Fair to say,
we see that. I want to show you something here because one of the things in the judge's ruling, he ruled here. He said, yet there remains an order of mendacity, and this is talking about. I can't hear you.
That's a good word.
An odor of mendacity.
I
And
love it.
so I'm gonna pull this up here because I saw that and I wanted to get it in context to really explain what Judge Scott McAfee was saying. And here it is here. An odor of mendacity. Here we go. Look what it says here. So an odor of mendacity is a phrase that suggests that there is a sense of dishonesty or deceitfulness present. He's talking about Nathan and Fani.
100%.
It implies that there is a feeling or perception of falsehood or insincerity in a situation or in someone's behavior. The word mendacity itself refers to the quality of being untruthful or deceptive. So when someone mentions the odor of an odor of mendacity, they are usually indicating that they sense dishonesty or the lack of truthfulness, the lack of candor in a particular context. And that's where he laid it out. So he did rebuke and them. He did call out a lot of the stuff, but he just chose to go right down the middle, so to speak, and with this adjudication. I think I can say that it's a gift to Donald Trump because the rest of them, because remember the Abato, attorney Abato, Abato, something like that. He was the one who did the closing argument. The one who Fannie them kept having to go up to him and pull his coattail or give him notes.
Yeah, the little short dude.
Yeah, that's her top. That's her top deputy attorney, district attorney. That's her top guy, and he looked like he was just out of law school. So if she's going to depend on him and the others to process this case, it's going to be trouble. It's going to be this ain't going to fall apart. It may fall apart before it even goes to trial. So
this is sad.
It's really, it's a mess. So, any comments you have on that, Diva, and then we're going to go to our next story here.
Excuse me, I have such a tickle tonight. I'm just, I think at this point it's just a waste of money to even try to pursue this anymore. She has made a mockery of this whole thing, and it's literally, here it comes. Here comes my word. It's a shit show. And she can't blame anybody but herself, because she looks crazy, So I just think they just need to let it go. Let it go. Okay, he won another one, because that's exactly what it is. What exactly is
well, people like her. People like with the personality type, and we're going to see more with somebody else in a minute. Someone else. People with her personality type won't take the L. They'll get the L, and they'll still be trying to prove whatever they try to prove, and they'll go down. I mean, they will go down with the ship and still be saying, no, blame everybody else. I want to show this. This is kind of from the Trump's team and the other attorneys. I'm gonna play this for you, and then let you know what they're doing. This time, all right, here we go.
Richard Elliott continues our live Team 2 coverage outside the Fulton County Courthouse. Richard, one attorney believes that was Donald Trump's goal all along.
Yeah, the feeling was get the trial to the November 2024 elections, see what happens after that. That one attorney believes that while this looks like a loss for the defense, it could actually be a win for Donald Trump. Defense reaction came swift after the release of Judge Scott McAfee's ruling, which basically said that either DA Fani Willis or Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade had to go because of the appearance of impropriety. The defense wanted them both disqualified. Donald Trump's attorney, Steve Sadow, seemed to hint that an appeal was imminent. Quote, "We will use all legal options available as we continue to fight to end this case, which never should have been brought in the first place."
I wish Fani Willis would just do the right thing and step down. But I don't think she's going to do that.
Attorney Scott Grubman is intimately familiar with this case. He represented Kenneth Chesbrough, one of the original 19 defendants. Chesbrough cut the deal and pleaded guilty early on. Grubman believes the defense will appeal McAfee's ruling, and that delay is what Donald Trump really wants, a trial after the November elections.
It was already exceedingly unlikely, in my opinion, that this case was ever going to get to trial before the 2024 election. An appeal would make that 100% impossible.
Former DeKalb District Attorney Robert James thinks McAfee made the right call.
says there was no direct impropriety by either Willis or Wade, but there was enough of an appearance of impropriety that one of them had to go.
The judge looked at whether or not there's an actual
There.
conflict, and he
There.
decided not.
An appearance.
There's really no evidence for an actual conflict, but the appearance as it pertains to Nathan Wade was just too strong to leave him on the case.
It is expected that the defense will file an appeal directly with the Georgia Court of Appeals. Judge McAfee would have to approve it, but it's expected that he would do so. We are live in downtown Atlanta. Richard Elliott, Channel 2 Action News.
So the question, what is...
All right, there we go. We see that's the case with that one. And they're going to continue on and do some appeals and all like that. Now, check this out, Diva. In our recap, let's go to... Today's been a very busy day. I had to take a little nap before we came on here.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, let's go to Dalton. Let's go to Dalton, Illinois.
Oh, hey, here we go.
Some of you joined us today. We're so glad to have some of our new listeners and viewers. If you would, go ahead and share some likes and hearts and all that on YouTube and Facebook and on X. But let's get down into this, because before we get into what happened today, I found out that there's another lawsuit that has been filed against the Super Mayor Tiffany Dalton and another one, and you're gonna be tickled, because you're gonna find out that exactly how many lawsuits they have active right now.
Oh
Just
my
somebody
God.
say
How many?
A whole bunch of. I think they're up to 44. Yeah, 44. 44. So
one of them gotta get her. One of them gotta get her.
44 lawsuits that the city is dealing with right now. City of Dalton. Wow. You know. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Here it is. Here.
Oh.
Okay. There we are. This is from this is actually Fox 32 in Chicago. This is actually from yesterday. Kind of missed it with everything going on. And it's like, okay, here we go. Another one. That girl. All right, here we go.
We start with new controversy in Dalton.
Honestly, I didn't want to file a lawsuit against the village, but it didn't sit right not to do anything. And I wanted my story to be heard.
Three more lawsuits now filed against Dalton Mayor Tiffany Heynard, this time for wrongful termination.
Now, the plaintiffs claim they were retaliated against for not going along with the mayor's demands. Elizabeth Matthews is in Dalton tonight with the latest.
These three civil suits were filed in federal court on Wednesday, but this now makes 30 lawsuits against the mayor, more specifically against the village of Dalton.
It's sad that she had this wonderful platform and she just destroyed everything and anything. She's affected a lot of people's lives, and she just doesn't care.
Samisha Williams is one of three plaintiffs claiming they were fired illegally by Tiffany Heynard, acting as either mayor of Dalton or Thornton Township supervisor. Williams worked as the director of Dalton's building department from 2019 to 2022.
She didn't want us to process business licenses and permits for certain business owners.
How do you know that? Did she personally talk to you about that, or how did you know it was coming from her?
Yeah, she told me personally, because one business owner in particular, I told her, I said, there's no reason for this business owner not to get his permits. And she said, I don't care, have his lawyer, contact our lawyer.
Heynard has been accused of corruption, and now federal agents are reportedly investigating. Bert Odelson is Dalton's legislative counsel for the trustees.
I sent a letter today to the Attorney General and to the state's attorney and to our legislators asking for help.
He says the town cannot afford these lawsuits, 4 dozen of them.
She's bankrupting the town. The town doesn't have any money, and it's not going to have any money for a long time.
But he warns there will be more.
A lot of employees are not stepping up, former employees.
Why?
Probably retaliation.
They're nervous.
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about. I'm on the side of right.
Williams attorney Matthew Castardo says he may be filing a few more wrongful termination lawsuits against the village in the coming days. We reached out to the mayor for comment, have not yet heard back. In Dalton, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
Wow. 4 dozen? 4 dozen?
They're coming to get her.
4 dozen? Are you kidding me? 4 dozen. 12 times 4. 48. 48. 3.5 years. She's
Wait,
got 40.
12. My God. Ooh, they coming to get her.
Lord have mercy. That's all I can say. It's really a mess there in Dawson. I really feel bad for them. However, we got some better news, some good news. As you all know, earlier this week we talked about, and on a podcast the other night we talked about there was a alleged sexual assault in Las Vegas when she took some of the team out there back in May of 2023. Well, as of today, it's been reported. It's still, I think somebody got ahead of the curve, but it has been reported by some of the local media there in Dalton. Basically, there's been an extradition warrant put out there in Las Vegas to arrest the trustee that has been accused of sexual assault. And they also said that they're going to be questioning her. This is the authorities from Las Vegas because, again,
it was under her watch.
Yeah, it was some
and
type of
she was told about it.
Yeah. So, but let's go ahead. When you see this, this is going to really kind of broke my heart anyway. But then when I saw the gentleman who is accused of it, I was really like, come on, man, come on. So it's really sad.
I told you what it was. Didn't I tell you what it was? But see, but this is my question before you play that.
Mm-hmm.
Who gave him? It had to be a date rape drug or whatever was in her drink to make her be incapacitated.
Right.
You know he doesn't know about that. Who gave him that? Who told him what that was, how to use it, who put it in her glass, if that's where it was? Somebody make it make sense. Those are the questions I want to know. I bet she had something to do with it.
Wow. Now, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to play the story, and while I'm playing the story, I'll come back. Here's what's happening is the gentleman, the police chief from South Holland, which is the next town, did make a statement. He did say that they were extraditing, sent the warrant from Las Vegas to them to extradite the person, arrest the person. The person has been named as Andrew Holmes, one of the trustees. However, while they're still trying to work everything out, he actually is not in custody yet. They're working it all out, so it's kind of this in between. Because one of the papers actually took their page down on that story, one of the local papers. But I'm going to play the story, and then we will go from there. And I tell you, it's not looking good for Miss the Super Mayor. The Super Mayor, she's got a mess on her hands, and you almost. I mean, you see it. You saw it coming. You know what I mean? You kind of have to see it coming.
Of course, it's in the cards. Of course.
All right, one moment. Here we go.
The woman says she later has learned an employee of the village of Dalton accused a trustee of sexual misconduct while on a taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas. We've been reporting for months on controversies that have clouded Mayor Tiffany Heynard's administration of that small south suburb. The mayor, her security detail, and several of her allies went to Las Vegas last May to attend a conference to lure retail business to town. Now we've obtained a complaint filed with the Illinois Department of Human Rights in which one of Heynard's aides on that trip accuses a trustee of a sexual encounter after she blacked out and had been unable to provide consent. The woman says she later had been fired after reporting the incident to the mayor. In a separate complaint filed with the Department of Human Rights, a Dalton police officer on the mayor's security detail says he had been demoted for coming forward to say the trustee called and FaceTimed with him to brag about his sexual exploits. We are not naming the trustee because he hasn't been charged with a crime. But tonight, he's telling WGN Investigates the woman's story is fabricated and he simply tried to help her while she was intoxicated and high on drugs. Trustees saying outside investigators hired by the village cleared him of wrongdoing. Mayor Heynard's publicist declined to comment. The Department of Human Rights says it has not substantiated these complaints, but has started an investigation. County are searching for a driver who killed a husband and wife in a hit and run over the week.
Here we go again. You see that, Diva? Hello, Diva?
I keep muting myself because I don't want any background noise. That's unbelievable. Wait. So he's saying that he was helping her.
Yes, that she had her
So
own.
FaceTiming the chief was helping her. FaceTiming her private parts was helping her. What part of that was helping?
Right.
I don't know. These people's old ass men, I swear. He just was happy to touch something. Is he married?
I don't know. He lost his daughter. Tragically, he lost his daughter back in 2015. She was shot at a club in Indianapolis. Shot and killed at a club. So he's actually a very well-respected community.
Well, he was.
Anti-violence community activist. That's why I was like, wow. You know,
He was.
I saw our live from earlier today. We're breaking news. You can see the article of that showing him. So he's very well respected. However, nobody knew about it except the few that were on the trip. So they kept it a secret 10 months. 10 months. He was still on the board, the trustee board and everything, and nothing was done. So, yeah. So here we are. So here we are. They're up to 4 dozen lawsuits. Now you've got the FBI that's investigating everything with her that she's been doing. We see now the legal counsel for the city has been asking help from the Attorney General, Merrick Garland in D.C., and the state attorney there in Illinois, because they're out of money. They're $7 million in debt, and they've got 48 lawsuits.
Oh, they're doing what? They're doing a bang-up job.
They got 48 lawsuits, $7 million in debt. And when she
At this point, they just need to say, "Bitch, can you kick rocks? Because you are bringing nothing but negativity, debt, too much unwanted attention."
Right. And the thing about it, and she's trying to get that property tax increase there for the township. So then that would bring in another $3 million. But they're like, she's not going to put the $3 million towards the $7 million that they're in debt. She's going to try something else.
Of course not. Of course not. I think everyone on her staff that are signing things and allowing this stuff to happen, they need to be brought up on charges as well.
Yeah, but see, that's what the lady was saying there. They're being intimidated and strong-armed by her. You see what I'm saying?
I guess. I mean, and she does come across as a bully, so
right. I mean, because if
guess
you're the one that writes the check, I'm just saying, if you're the one that writes the checks or signs the whatever, like she said, that lady there was in the building department. She would tell her directly, "Do not approve these building permits." So if you did your job and went against her, she would have you fired. So I guess once that happens, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times with people around you, then it puts fear in everybody else.
Right. I think the sad part about this whole thing, I'm not surprised anymore by what she does. You know, I want you to look up that story about that one lady who says that when she didn't do what Tiffany wanted her to do. Yes, I'm calling her by her first name because she does not deserve to be called mayor, miss, ma'am, or he, she, it, and them, there, and there. Tiffany, I'm gonna call her. Look up that story because it showed a video. She videoed that caravan that was creeping past her place, and then the shooting that occurred not far afterwards.
I saw that story. That was horrible.
You saw it, like
horrible. That's
you
scary.
intimidate. And she's a short little thing, right here acting like a whole orangutan. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I can't.
Yes, yeah, it's sad that this is going on. It's making everybody look bad. Because Dalton sure is everybody knows about Dalton. Everybody knows about Dalton now, and it's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all.
Everybody knows about Dalton.
Yeah, I also saw today how she ended up becoming the administrator for the township, Thornton Township. Basically, the person who had it but died, and they were voting, and they had to vote. They had a midnight deadline to vote, and it was about 1:45 midnight, and they couldn't get it done. So she had a couple people there. So somebody nominated her. A couple other people got nominated. All they needed was a minimum of 3 votes, and she got the 3 votes. And she started screaming like she's on the light, and they swore her in right there, 5 minutes to 12.
Shut up. What?
That's a $200,000 salary. And just she said, I came to support other people, but guess who she was there with? She was with her boyfriend. You know, her boyfriend, the one that's married to somebody else.
That's married, right?
Yeah,
right.
Congratulating and hugging her and all that kind of stuff. No shame at all. No shame. But so a lot of people were not happy. She said she won by 87% of the vote. Not really. She got 9% of all the registered voters, and she got a certain percentage of those who actually voted. Not that many people voted, so of course it looked like 87% because the town only has 23,000 people, so come on. So you could see everybody was like, "What just happened?" You see
like everybody's like, "What the?" Now she wasn't nowhere on the ballot,
and little did they know. But see, that was 3.5 years ago. But don't worry, she won't get reelected because before she gets reelected, they're not going to reelect her. And number two, even if she's up for reelection, I think she's going to be in handcuffs and chains by that time.
Oh, I sure hope so. Maybe her stylist can get her together, and somebody needs to change their hair color, and then
$7,500 spent
on the hairstylist.
Yep.
$7,000.
She builds it into her expenses for to do a job. So basically, they're paying for it.
Boy, I tell you.
Hey, here's the thing about it. I just think about that. They're sitting up here $7,000 to do her hair and makeup and all like that, and still
it looked like that. They need to get some change.
All right.
They need to get some change. That's what they need to do. Somebody is owed some change because I'm just that is horrible.
It really is. It really is. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining us here for the Real Talk Recap. We really enjoyed ourselves. We're so glad to for Attorney Deborah Hill of Baltimore area, Baltimore, Maryland, being our guest tonight, giving her legal analysis. Share this with somebody. Share this. And whenever you watch it, share with some people. Let some people know what's going on and have them recap. And also, you can go listen to us on, if you're on the podcast platform, you can listen to us on Apple and Google and all the podcast platforms, wherever you podcast. And also, you can watch us on Roku. Look for the RCTV network. And you can see there and look, and you'll see some of our podcasts there. And of course, right here on Facebook, YouTube, X, Rumble. All those websites, all those platforms, you can see us. Diva, how can they get a hold of you? They would like to send you a little love offering, a little blessing.
Oh, I would love a love offering or a blessing. You are more than welcome to donate to my Cash App at $RNDiva01 and my Venmo at RNDiva01. If you have any questions or concerns, if you have a comment, if you just want to talk about something specific, something that's been on your mind, go ahead and jump into my email address at TheRNDiva@gmail.com, and I will get in there. I will peruse, I will check it out, and if I can get you an answer, I will. Remember, I opine, I will give you my opinion, but I will not give you a diagnosis.
All right.
And Pastor Robert, what about you? Man. How can they donate to you?
You can donate here to me $, on Cash App, $, RCTVNetworks with an S. Venmo at the RCTV Network, PayPal at the RCTV Network, and Coinbase. If you have cryptocurrency, you can go to at Rob Carpenter at Rob Carpenter II. I'm sorry, but at Rob Carpenter II. So anyway, we're so glad you joined us. Have a wonderful night. Join us every Thursday night around 7:30, 8 o'clock, where we're going live with our podcast. It'll be a great time. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Woo-wee.
Good night, folks.
Good night. Say good night, Gracie.